phase 1 of the Season 15 playoffs.
When the clock strikes 12 tonight, we will have our first representative who will be heading to Riyadh for Mid-Season Cup. The timing could not have been more accurate. We'll see if SRGOG can finally bounce back, right? They have attempted the Frederick twice, and early aggression in the mid lane is gonna enable them to get some breathing space against Izanami's Kimi.
I'm so excited for this one. I always love it when teams bring out weird picks, and these are some of the weirdest picks we have seen in a long time. Looking at the emblem setup, MelQT is going for Marksman emblem, does also have that Master Assassin, so he is trying to win out this lane. He'll be bullied until level 4, where he'll really be able to start putting pressure on Innocent.
Val holding the minion wave underneath the turret, but Cram has harshed out enough, so he's not going to be affected by how Homebois have been really trying to manipulate the minion wave, right? They've been doing it for the entire series, and you can see it very evidently in Game 3 and 4. It affects Innocent the most. But I do wonder, how is this Mincetar going to play into that mid to late game, right? How effective would it be?
And Mincetar is actually pretty annoying. There are a good number of dashes on the side of SRGOG. It's not just Innocent, it's Skies as well. If he gets caught in the King's Calling, he cannot actually quad shadow his way out to safety. And that is a pretty scary thing. Not to mention, Phoveus actually can get quite messed up in a Mincetar. So a well-placed ultimate is going to do a lot for them. And this is the first time that MelQT is bringing this hero out. We can officially say he has never played a Mincetar gold lane.
Yep.
So this is his debut.
He's only played the Ruby gold, one of the games in the regular season. 4 flickers on the side of Homebois. 2 Sakai is coming in with some chip damage. Now look for the target. Ogi Shadow kill. First blood on Ivan. Nothing that Homebois can do. Izanami comes in with a traction pulse, avoided by Yunes easily. As SRG now, he might look for more on Homebois. No retribution to contest the turtle, but they don't care about the turtle. They look for the kills. Here comes the thunderclap on the Cram. Flickers away. Yunes in the bush. Comes in. Fist break. Aim out control. The guys comes in. King's Calling a bit late as Stormy sings the swan song. Val gets the clap onto Cram. Stormy getting run down. MelQT with the flicker. Stormy finally falls, but Yunes finds the trade on the Izanami as this fight continues to be dragged on. A flicker from Ivan and another kill on the Sakai's courtesy of Val.
3 kills for 3 kills. Neither team willing to back down. Even though SRGOG initially had good control, they got a great pick off to start off that fight. You can see that MelQT is actually kind of an annoying presence, forcing Skies into a tough spot, even denying a lot of the Swan Song damage. But SRGOG still the ones to secure the objective overall.
And Cram just found a solo kill bottom. He's gonna give his life away for sure. Aim out collects that one. All things considered, despite that being an even trade at the Turtle Pit, Innocent almost got the full plating in the top tier 1, so it is still profit for this Harith.
It was an even trade, but that was a 4v5 situation.
Yep.
Innocent was not part of it and was getting a huge chunk of gold up top. So even though the gold difference isn't that big, most of it is on this Harith.
And SRGOG on Spore is in a position where low committal draft, right? They have short cooldowns that leads to big damage numbers. And rest of Homebois, I guess you could say the same for them as well, but very reliant on the electrifying beats of the Thunderclap, the King's Calling, compared to SRGOG. The Red Giant is definitely more willing to throw their abilities at the Homebois.
Man, we're 4 minutes in and I'm still looking at the draft and I can't believe it. The MelQT gold lane, Mincetar, and then the Stormy Odette mid. First item, Thunderbelt from MelQT. Innocent still gonna be quite difficult to handle.
Yeah, you see he's just dancing around MelQT. Flicker for MelQT coming back up in 10 seconds. Yumes gonna eat up the grab. SRGOG now taking prio at the second turtle. And the Homebois has a choice to make, right? Do they bring MelQT to join the fight? Because it might not be worth it in the long run. In fact, Innocent's gonna be the one who leaves the lane first. Section pulse. It's gonna be a stagger on the side of Yunes. Keep Izanami away. Stormy getting chased around by Ivan. As the guy tries to go for the back line, goes for the OG Shadow kill, dispersed between Ivan, Izanami, and a golden camp. So not really getting too much damage in. Stormy getting a genius one. Cram now isolated. Thunderclap from Val. 1-2 clap. Stormy flickers forward into a swan song. And the Zaman Frost contributed from Innocent. A double kill for the Odette. Ivan now hops on top of Stormy. Tries to keep him in place, but Sakai is barely healthy. Ivan is gonna try to whittle down Stormy as much as possible as Amar finally shows up. Electrifying Beast, misses the Fist Crack, pushes up into the wall with the break anyways, and now Innocent collects the kill. MelQT, King's calling, but Sukai just shadow close in and out. Yume's gonna walk out of the ultimate, waits for the Fist Break to come back up, misses the range, gets pulled back by MelQT, but Innocent with the Diamond Force will clean it up. Traction Pulse a bit too late, Innocent disengages, and both teams are just bleeding everywhere.
It is an all-out brawl in the land of Dawn here, but SRG OG are still the ones that are reaping the benefits. Innocent has not died so far and has been able to pick up 2 kills already on this Harif. Another turtle going to the hands of the Red Giants as well means that they are the ones in control of the flow of the game right now. And that is something that Homebois needs to try and avoid.
And Val is not really doing too well. One less chrono dash. Getting the job done, Innocent, cashing in on Big Bucks Cram. Now becomes target in the top lane. 2-man dog wave, Traction Pulse, Cram, pull back, pass it back up, but 4 members is too much for him. So Cram gets traded.
Oh, so much trading happening. It's like the bartering system just got invented or something. The SRG OG are still the ones slightly in control. Homebois needs to find a slightly more positive trade to keep themselves into this. But once we get into the later stages, when there is more 5v5 team fighting towards the mid game, that is where Homebois' draft starts to become a little bit more effective.
The rest of SRG OG to the rescue in the top lane. MelQT grabs Hume but gets pushed away. All things considered, SRG OG getting themselves 1.1k goal advantage. Ivan in the bush. Finally reveals himself. Could have been scary mode for Stormy. Yu doesn't have a Fist Break, so he's getting pulled back by the Traction Pulse. Yu just fully commits to it. Brings Ivan down underneath the turret, but King's calling for MelQT into a swan song. That's not really where you want to be, dude. MelQT wants the trade, doesn't get it this time. Innocent gets the mega kill.
If the other members of the Homebois stayed just a tiny split second longer to help DPS Stormy, they could have at least traded there, but they weren't willing to risk 3 players standing inside a swan song. Any pub players knows that this Odette does a lot of damage.
Vel accepts the challenge and Innocent says bring it on. Amao joins the fight. Vel gets pushed away. Innocent! He's just too good. He's online. He's awake. The night's still young. Innocent with a double kill.
Innocent on a Harif. 6-0 in 8 minutes. This is a massive problem. SRG OG are officially online. And their half-man, half-beast is now a huge threat on the battlefield. This King's Calling has not been able to find the right target a lot of the time.
When you need the beast to help you out, he awakens from his slumber just in time to put Homebois to bed if this continues. Ivan finally spotted out. Yu's not in the best condition. The fight is going to bring Ivan far away from his team as possible. So now Ivan is stranded and isolated. It's going to be bursted down by Innocent and the rest of SRG. MelQT tries the King Calling and the drag back, but it's just not enough. SRG OG too far ahead. Cram now goes on the Vel. Where are you going? Little Masha, nowhere but the grave. SRG OG with 3.
This Odette pick to counter the Mincetar came out so fast. It's like Coach Arcadia and Stormy have been dreaming about it their whole lives. You pull me in, I pop the swan song, and then what are you going to do? Just gets melted down. It's so much zone control and allows Innocent to freely dash around in the Zaman Force since Homebois cannot afford to walk in and threaten it. The lead slowly building up more and more for SRG OG, and if Homebois are not able to turn this around soon, things are going to start getting very, very dicey.
This Mincetar and Odette interaction feels like those fever dream TikTok clips you see, where a Mincetar gets made fun of by putting an Odette into the rest of the team.
That's basically what's happening here. Amal did just finish Holy Crystal though. So that's a good power spike. He has not really been able to freely threaten the backline, and at the same time, Stormy gonna be finishing his own. Innocent already got one much earlier because this Harif is so rich actually. He has nearly doubled the farm of MelQT.
He is eating good. The fact that MelQT went to Thunderbelt too is not really getting full value out of it. My math is not that good, but 2 Holy Crystals look better than 1 Holy Crystal.
Yeah, I do feel like MelQT may have needed to just commit to full damage if you are on a gold lane Mincetar here. Lord going to eventually get cleared up, but we're only 10 minutes into the game and all the external towers have already fallen. SRG OG have brought their full strength to bear. They know what is at stake. They know that a victory here is all it takes to send them back to MSC. And they're not about to let that chance go.
And like Go just said, boys, let's close it out. Let's end it right here, right now. And odds are looking incredibly good. I mean, if you're SRGOG, you don't really need to do too much. You know, just wait for the next Lord, secure it, or we make that one last dance down that mid lane. Concentrated energy for Innocent. I think one thing that a lot of people overlook is the fact that Harif's passive is kind of illegal. You know, 35% hybrid lifesteal maximum on top of concentrated energy, Starlim's sight. Not really sure about that, Muntan, but hey, you're the developer, not me.
I think the entire hero is illegal. There's a lot more to the design going on than just that passive. It's just one part of a whole. And when you put it on Innocent, it just becomes cursed, basically. It is too much to handle. The Mincetar was meant to try and create pressure on this Harif, but in order to do that, you need to be controlling the lane somewhat early, and you do still need your side of the map to be affected by your team somewhat. SRGOG have denied that right from the beginning. Sky is clearly much more comfortable playing aggressively on this Hayabusa, and the difference is clear to see.
I felt like this Ivan Blue Roam was... It's just taking it one step too far forward. We'll see if he can make a difference here. Trying to jump onto Innocent. They're going to try and get onto him. Innocent able to buy some distance. Meanwhile, Stormy, Sakai force Izanami away. King's calling this time. Innocent, he's just cornered. Great dive from the Homeboy. Stormy does not have the Swan Song anymore. He's going to be bursted down by Bell. Used with the flicker, re-engage. Takes down Mel QT in the process. Cram will try to chase down Bell. The Dark Wave misses. Izanami assassinated in the process. Bell will get his health bar back. The fight plays into 2. Ivan takes down Sakai. And suddenly things are looking great for the Homeboys. Not really sure if Cram can continue the chase. It's going to let it go.
This is absolute chaos! Chaos is unfolding in the Land of Dawn right now. Because right when things looked bleak, Homeboys finally found the chance to lock down Innocent in the King's Calling. And even better, inside the pit, so that he wasn't able to walk out of that situation. And despite all of that, SRGOG still press on with the attack, and they still end up trading somewhat evenly. But Skies being taken out at the very end is really good for Homeboys, since they can start on the Lord.
This is a tipping point for sure. No flickers, no big ability Swan Song. And the Salmon Force, they just blow up Homeboys.
Izanami
gets the Lord in the process. So that's the silver lining for the Homeboys, but SRGOG are not going down without a fight.
You need to respect the Swan Song. You cannot get caught out like that. The two men fist crack into the circle of death from Stormy, and no one is surviving that without Amal. I thought for sure SRG would take the Lord, but nope, Izanami just keeps pelting away with that gun back there and actually steals it away. This means that SRG isn't able to use that fight victory to actually get more structures on the map. Looking at the itemization, Mel QT is starting to get close to completing that Trinity. Vel is a little bit behind on farm as well, only just completed his 3rd item. But that should be enough to start really threatening Innocent as well. Homeboys needs to continue recreating those situations. They need to blast this Harif first, otherwise there is no way for them to win the fight.
Stormy just got the Winter Crown too, mid-fight just now. They have a fresh sort of invulnerability. Innocent with the Oracle. Even more shield on top of what he already has. Big ticket items, Malefic Roar for Sakai's. Even when we look at the mid lane comparison, this is insane for Stormy. The damage per minute.
And Odette has always been like this. It's just never really had the opportunity to truly shine. But the amount of DPS output is so ridiculous, since you don't really have any way of locking people down inside that circle.
Yeah. Last time we saw this, funnily enough, was SRGOG against RQ Hoshi in the M6 group stage. Oh no, the playoffs actually, where Rince brought out the Odette in one of the games.
I think it's a mid laner classic. If you played mid lane long enough, you can probably play Odette.
Yeah. Shout out to the Kingdom. Winter Crown for Cram now. I can't believe we are somehow being dragged by Homeboys into this late game stage. I mean, they've done a fantastic job, right? One catch on the Innocent gave them breathing room. The Lord Steel, Lord Secure by Izanami extended the lifeline. When do we reach the point where the lead stops mattering for SRG OG, or are they always going to be a step ahead as long as Innocent is alive?
I think it's more of the latter, just because Harif scales up that well, but Homebois has the King's Calling. That is actually a tool to deny Innocent, especially if they also stack it up with the Thunderclap. The damage output will not matter if Homebois are able to position correctly. They have the damage. It really does come down to the execution, and if they're able to avoid the Swan Song and the Zaman Force, then... Oh!
Whoa, Cram! He's so deep in, use the steal from behind. They want to look for MelQT. Some guys and Stormy in the fight. The Swan Song doing so much Bell. Just melt. And Innocent free to do what he wants. Here comes Yuz. Re-engage. SRGOG have found the pivotal fight. MelQT, he's just poking away. But Death Spear is about to be down. One last fist break into the wall. One last break. One last push. And one last kunai to the face. SRGOG have found the jugular of Homebois. Hang him up. Quarter him. Bleed them dry. Selangor Red Giants